Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Financial Juneteenth, and I'm here to talk business and life and everything in between with my respected colleague, Mr. Damon Dash, coming in out of North Carolina. How you doing today, man?
It's good. I'm on the farm. I'm see if you can see the back. See the back, the farm?
You're farming, huh?
All that? Yeah.
Now, what kind of farm is that?
Word. I like to do different stuff. Well, this particular farm, because it's not my farm. I'm doing the research. I'm just gonna put the charger on. This
Oh,
particular farm is hold on a second. I'm sorry.
take your time.
All right. This particular farm is it's they got goats, they got llamas, they make hay. They got those fainting goats that when you come up and scare them, they lock up and faint. It's hilarious. They got pigs, got chickens. You know, yeah. Again, they pick hay every day. It's a lot of different things going on. It's a lot of land. But it's hard. It's a struggle. It's not as easy as people would think. Very sophisticated thing, farming. And you know what I was thinking? Do you read the Bible? Have you read it? A little bit. Have you heard of any chapter that refers to money?
You know what? I don't know the Bible well enough to know. I just know what they say about the
You
root
would
of all
know.
evil. But I assume that they talk about money on some level, right?
It's never a direct, from what I understand, there's no direct lesson about money because I don't think God created money.
You don't
When
think?
you read the Bible and things that are Bible-ish,
Hmm.
everyone's a farmer, everyone's a sheep herder. God gave us the tools to live off the land. Man created money. So people become slaves to the dollar and start doing what's better for the dollar. They're not doing what's better for God's bigger picture, for God's plan. A lot of people might get up to heaven and be like, they might have fought the whole wrong fight, thinking that the dollar is God. God did not make the dollar. Man made the dollar. God gave us land, tools, animals, enough so that we can survive off the land, to eat the food we kill, to plant, to farm. I think that was God's plan for survival. But once you can pay for something, you can cheat. You can pay to get somebody to farm. You can pay to get somebody to cut that grass. You can pay for the things that God says that a man should be able to do himself. So it's become very important for me as a man to know how to survive, even if I didn't have money, because that's not what God put on this planet. He didn't put money on the planet. That's what men put on the planet to cheat and be lazy and to pay people to do things.
Mm.
And that
So,
seems to be the root of all evil. When people make God money their God, that's when evil happens. And that's basically how the world runs. So the thing that's odd to me is like, if this was God's plan, there would be a whole chapter in it on how to deal with money, how to deal with people with money, because that's what runs the world. So obviously in God's world, it wasn't about be a slave or worship money. He's talking about worship the land. The people, Jesus, Noah, all of those people. I've never seen one of them be accountants or banks or none of that. I didn't hear about none of that in the Bible.
okay, so if you say that
That's
money,
just me though.
right. No, I'm not disagreeing. I think that,
But that's the farm thing. Because when I went to go see Farrakhan, that's all we spoke about was farming. He taught me so much about dirt, like compound, whatever you call it. What's it called? Compost and the worms and how to the seedlings and so much on how to take care of myself, the organic food that we put in our body. And then when I go to North Carolina and I see so much people unhealthy and so much butter and so much sugar and so many what do you call those? MMO, what do you call it? All that GMO and all this other stuff. And people's arms is looking like thighs. You know what I mean? And it's normal. Like when women don't care that their stomachs are hanging over to their knees, that means the men don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have to care about what we put in our body. But like I said, out here, everything has more sugar, more butter, more everything.
so okay, so would you say that now what do you think is the cause of this obesity thing that we have in the U.S.?
Laziness,
Really,
fast
laziness.
food, fast food.
Really?
For
Okay.
$5, you can buy a burger instead of going and making it. I know. Why do people eat fast food? They don't feel like cooking. It's a quick fix. That's it. The bodegas, they stay popping. In the middle of a recession, The bodegas is popping. That means the little candy stores where you could buy candy and junk for $5 for that little escape. It's lazy. It's just laziness. I pay for things I don't feel like doing. Like, not to sound pompous, but I don't make my bed. I could make my bed, but I pay somebody to do it. I could cook if I got to, but I got a chef. I'm lazy. And then the world makes you work hard so you could be lazy. So you can pay people to do the shit that you don't feel like doing. But the fundamentals, I got to at least know how to grow my own food. Because I don't trust people. I don't trust anybody at all. So especially when somebody's creating something to make money off it in a mass way, do you really think the stuff we put in our body is good? They're doing whatever they can to make as much off it as they can. So that's why there's so many preservatives in meat and vegetables and everything else, so you can get more for less money. And that ends up not being healthy. It's just like when you do mass in clothing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, mass clothing is never good. You know what I mean? When you get an independent, family-owned, boutique business, those are the best businesses because someone's looking at everything. But when you do something mass, it's to get the most done the cheapest. And usually the people that's making the stuff won't even eat it. People that make masks don't use the stuff they sell. I can guarantee that.
Well, it's funny. It makes me think about how somebody was talking about how bad the schools are, and they were saying, you notice that most of these politicians that are telling people to send their kids to public schools, they don't send their kids to public schools. So it's kind
Right.
of like fits what you're saying. Have you ever seen this documentary on Netflix called "Fed Up"? Did I ever tell you about that?
Was it about the parent? I saw the one with the divorce thing. I don't know
Oh,
if they
that
call
one.
it
Yeah,
Fed Up.
now that's Divorce Corp, which is another real good one. That
I'm
was
gonna put
about
that. I think I'm gonna put that on my network because that is
yeah.
very informative about
Oh
how
man,
it's very relatable based on what I'm going through.
yeah, man. I mean, that one's amazing. And then, well, Fed Up really talks about the politics behind food in America and how because so many of our politicians are just bought out by corporations, the corporations will force them to allow Americans to eat food that is not healthy,
Right.
food with mainly a lot of
Well,
sugar, stuff like
what
that.
happens? Not to cut you off, but what I saw out here was the main thing out here is like corn and wool and things like that. And the stuff that, like, for example, it's really hard to make cotton. You know what I'm saying? It's not the easiest thing in the world to grow. It's really rough. But hemp is easier to grow. But because all the farmers do it one way, they made it illegal to do the hemp. It's not because of the weed in it. It's just because everyone's farm is not set up for hemp. So to protect the bigger picture, the greater cause of the economy for these farmers out here, people have to now, they can't do the hemp thing. And it would be better for the soil, it would be better for everybody. You can make more, it's cheaper. You know what I mean? But sometimes what's the healthiest isn't what's in the best interest of the bigger picture for the dollar. You know what I mean? Health doesn't come into play. And things, mental health and all these other things don't come into play when it comes to money. Money, the rule of thumb for anyone that lives by money is money before everything. You look
Mm.
at the Wolf of Wall Street, anything that means make money, gangsters, money comes before everything.
And what
Moral
and what do you
before
think about that?
respect.
I mean,
I don't respect.
have you ever been a money
Think
over
I,
everything type person?
no, that's why I quit. Once I became aware of things, that's why, not quit, but I quit a certain way of monetizing music. Because I wanted to make good music. I didn't want to make formulistic music. Once it became that and it was just for money, if you look at any business I'm in, anytime it becomes about the money, that's when I'm out.
Mm.
Do you notice, what I was thinking about the other day?
What's that?
Do you notice that usually, like, because I finally got to watch Empire, by the way.
Oh,
I watched it. The last
you
couple
like the
episodes.
show?
Well, I find it hilarious, because it's just a very exaggerated version of people's perception of our reality. And I
Mm.
did see the similarities to my life that were funny. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, yeah, it's funny to watch yourself or know that that people are making content that's inspired by you or by your lifestyle direct. But you got to know that on television, it's never real. It's never right. It never makes sense. It's all about the dollar. But as I was saying, back when I was in that empire world, that mentality was how it was.
Mm.
You understand what I mean? It was corny like that.
Mm.
It was, people didn't have the guts to kill or none of that tough shit. But whatever they did have the guts to do for money and cheat, they did. And it was corny. The people have, it's funny because people feel like they're elitist, but they're not elite people. It's funny that a circle of people that think they're elite, but they're not elite. If you notice, the most people that think they're elite look funny, dress funny, they don't talk because they know they're not elite. They make themselves look elite because they're not elite. And then the elite are the ones that have a point of view, that have an opinion, and that don't want to fit in. Because an elite doesn't want to be around a bunch of elites. Elite is the best. You understand what I'm saying? You're not trying to fit in. If there's some elite people, we'll come together on a very organic level, which kind of happens a lot. But it's just funny, like when someone, this elitist and all this other, it cracks me up. Because when I was in that circle of elitists, I was like, none of these people are elite. They're all corny. I'm the elite one. And that's why I'm in my own elite circle. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. And then they do a lot of making people feel bad about the things that other people don't have, that they've had the ability to cheat and afford. But I don't think being a man or being an adult, when you cheat, it's never a win. But there's some people cheating is a win.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so you know, I know you and Lee Daniels are now cool after you settled the lawsuit thing.
I haven't even spoke to Lee Daniels. We're exactly the same as we were.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. Well, my curiosity is now you say that you feel the Empire was kind of a match to your life. Maybe what your life when you were with Rockefeller, stuff like that. In what
Yeah.
ways would you say that Empire is similar to your life, and what ways would you say is different?
Well, number one, the mogulish kind of thing, the street background, the references to boxing, to selling watches, to raising the children, the men like I did all of those things. So, and then the fact that I made 3 movies with Lee Daniels, the fact that Malik Yoba went to school with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of, even down to the music. Like Alice Smith is one of the last artists I even ever managed that a lot of people even know about, but she's in it. You know what I mean? So those are the things, and just but it's popcorn version. Just being a person that an African American in a corporate world that came from an extreme circumstance that's always trying to clean up. The only difference is the corporate thing. I wasn't never trying to go public, and I'm not wearing a perm.
Okay, but haven't there been other people that have said that they felt Empire was a reflection of their life? Like, didn't Diddy say something like that, or am I making that up?
Now, I'm not going to say, yeah, there's a couple of us that can say that. He's one of them that can say that. There's probably elements of that as well from him. So I'm not saying that, but the difference between the fundamental thing is I'm really from Harlem. Like, I really did the street thing. You know what I'm saying? So they'd have to be talking about someone that really did the street thing.
Okay.
Like, Puff didn't do the street thing. He did the Mount Vernon thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a basement. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was Esplanade. I'm 142nd and Lennox. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like, I'm like, all right, but the street shit is kind of, and then the boxing, nobody else did boxing. Nobody else sold watches. Nobody else like, I raised my boys on my son on his own since he was 8. You understand? That's why I'm not so worried about this situation, because I went through it before and I ended up raising Boogie. But I did raise my boy. I did have problems with my baby mothers. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, everyone has the same kind of problems, but the fact that it's about a mogul, he rapped. I don't rap. But, they can exaggerate certain things. But I think the fundamentals, yeah, there's probably a group of us that they collectively took all that shit from. But because Lee Daniels was around me the most, I can only think he's getting it from me.
I'm curious, man. So now that I think about
But
it,
I don't
now,
care. I don't
well,
care.
I'm curious about this. Now that you bring that up, you mentioned to me that back when you and Jay were working together, that you actually went on stage with him to kind of help liven up the show and make it more animated, stuff like that. So if you were
I
going to
was a
go on
hype man.
stage, well, I was asking, if you were going to go on stage, why didn't you rap? I mean, did you ever try?
I didn't want to rap. I thought that shit was corny.
Oh, really? So you never had no
No,
interest in it? So
not rapping.
why would you go on stage but never want to rap? Like I just don't I don't get it.
Like, you needed me. You do anything for your business, even the things you don't like doing.
So you didn't
So I
really
didn't like
you,
being
you
on
didn't like
stage. I
being on
didn't say
stage.
that. I didn't like being on stage. I hated it. The minute I could get off, I got. Jay had no presence on that stage, period. He was terrible on stage. No personality. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing that Jay has now, I don't, in his show, whatever, he got hit records. But before he had hit records, he had, before you have hit records, you have a personality on that stage. He's pretty, he's not a very He was an introverted person. He doesn't talk very much. So he'd be on the stage doing nothing. I just come out there to live. That's what my job was, to always bring the fun. I bring the fun. I'm the fun guy. I'm the smart guy. I'm the fun guy. And I'm also the guy that's going to say whatever I feel. I guess I'm the everything guy, I guess. But that's the reason why when you that guy, everybody wants to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So everybody does whatever they can do to discredit that guy so that they can be that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I look at so many people and the things I've been through, and at the end of the day, what they were fighting for was just to be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just hilarious. It's like, damn, just tell me how to show you how to be me. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this, man. If you were to
Everybody wants to be the boss, man. Everybody wants to be the boss.
okay, so out of curiosity, I want to ask you this. So now you've just described yourself to me through your eyes. How would you describe Dame Dash through the eyes of other people? How do you think the world would define Dame Dash, as a human being and just as a public figure?
Well, just what everyone says. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. I think people think I'm crazy. They think I'm crazy for having an opinion. They think I'm crazy for fighting for what I believe in. They think I'm crazy for putting up my own money. I guess they think I'm crazy because I keep making history. But I don't really know, because I don't think anyone like me exists. So I can't really tell. I wouldn't know how I would look at me if I wasn't me. Like, how would I look at a guy that broke JayZ, Kanye, Kevin Hart, Rachel Roy? Like, I keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything I touch seems to be. But you know what's crazy? In all of those programs, the guy that's my part is always the one that's rich and everyone else is broke, right? Don't you find it odd that everyone I touch gets rich and I'm always the one that's supposed to be broke? I'm the one that's supposed to, traditionally, the administrator is the guy that robs everybody. I'm the guy that gives everything away. So that's why I think there's no one like me that exists. Anyone that makes people famous as I do usually robs their artists and runs off with the money. I give all my artists the money. Then they hate me for it because they want to be me. And then I'm the one that ends up in the newspaper as broke every single day.
And
it's kind of weird, right?
right.
It's bugged out.
Okay, so my question is,
the administrator is the artist is supposed to be the guy broke, not the guy that's fucking the record company. The record company is supposed to be robbing the artist. I'm the only record company that lets the artist rob me.
So when you say that you end up broke in the newspaper, is broke in the newspaper always the same as being broke in real life? I mean, is that the way it really ends, or is that kind of a perception that people have?
If you don't put up your own money, you'll never understand, or you never sold drugs, because you got to put up your own money. It's something called re-up, right? So when you got work on the street, you don't have cash in hand, but you got work on the street. I ain't never been broke a day in my life. I always got work on the street. When they say I'm broke, I got a $50 million company. How I'm broke?
Okay, fair enough. All right, well,
broke is relative, but also, as long as my kid is happy, as long as I got my girl, as long as I'm rich, regardless to what they say, no matter what. But in stupid people's terms, I can't be ever broke if I got work on the street. I still own reasonable doubt. See, the thing about it, if I make $100,000 a year, I'm broke. Somebody else make $100,000 a year, they rich. My kids make $100,000 a year for my child support, but I'm broke. When I'm broke, their schools cost $30,000 a year when I'm broke. Their vacations cost $20,000 for them when I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? All my baby mothers live in houses. All of them got companies. All of them got drivers, chefs, but I'm broke. But nobody else is. So I guess it's my job to be broke so the rest of my family can be rich. Fuck it. I'm broke. My family's rich. My name is rich. The Dash name is wealthy.
Well, one of the things that I brought up, when Charlamagne asked me about that on the Breakfast Club was that, Donald Trump declared bankruptcy 4 times. A lot of people don't know that. Like a couple of times in the early 90s, I think 2003, and then again later on. So, bankruptcy, the things that we define as...
That happens in business all the time.
Right. Explain that. Explain that for people so they can understand it. Well, say it again?
I mean, I never declared bankruptcy in my life. Ever. It never happened to me. But bankruptcy is when you got a lot of bills and you got money and you don't want to pay the bills. So you declare bankruptcy so you can keep your money, so you can keep putting it in businesses. But then the government's going to tell you exactly what you need to do for that particular business or that money. You understand what I'm saying? So, bankruptcy chapter 11, like there was a time I was going to file because I had 100,000 and 200,000 sitting in the bank, and I had to pay for some goods for Vampire Life. And I had got that, they had put a seize on my, there was a, what do you call that? When they put
Oh, a
my
lien.
money.
A lien.
I had a judgment against. So they made it where I couldn't touch my money till we sorted it out. So I was like, look, if we don't work it out, the person that put the judgment on me, and it was under a fucked up circumstance, it was Tom Nastos and this guy, Mike Rappaport, who's a lawyer, and he's a piece of dog shit, and I'm going to get at him another time too. And Tom Nastos, who robbed me and Beanie Siegel, and all, whatever, that's a different story, right? But I was going to declare because I needed the 200 to pay for my business. So I was like, yo, if y'all try to snatch that, I'm going to just declare bankruptcy and you're not going to get it, period. And you're never going to get it. But they were like, you would never declare. You too, because they thought my ego couldn't take it. I don't give a fuck about that, but I didn't have to do it. But sometimes, on a strategic level, you have to declare because some people try to make you pay for shit that you shouldn't have to pay for. And because you don't have as many lawyers at a time to focus on stupid ass little details about certain things, you might end up with a judgment that you didn't even expect. That judgment was for a loan I gave to the company. Well, it was because I had signed something for my to pay for a campaign, and I was using my royalties in advance for it. And I was like, when it come back, it'll come from the royalties. But they closed the company. Tom Nastos gets with Beanie Siegel and tells them that it should look like Rockware. And then he goes and talks to my designers, and they start soliciting things without my permission, and the company goes left. You know what I'm saying? And then they still came back and hit me with this judgment 10 years later. You know what I mean? So I was like, hey, before I give you that money, I'll file. But like I said, and another thing about Donald Trump is not to speak his business, but Donald Trump is a name, and they license that. Meaning, so let's say he does a building, someone just pays him 10% to put his name on it. He don't own that shit. Someone's just renting his name. You understand what I'm saying? Period. So people think every time you see Trump putting up the money, nah. Somebody's paying Trump to use Trump's name because Trump has made himself a brand. You understand what I'm saying? But every time you see Trump, don't mean Trump own it. Not that I'm not saying nothing bad. I'm just teaching y'all business. Sometimes when you make a name that's so heavy, people will pay just to use it and put it on. So like hotels, there'll be a hotel, but you pay Sheraton to manage it. So they put their name on it, give them 10%, and they manage it. It's licensing.
Okay, well, I want to ask you one last question before I let you go, man. I know you got a busy schedule, and looks like you got some
I'm not that
farming.
big on
You got some
farm.
farming to do.
No. I haven't started. I'm watching farming. I'm not farming.
Watching.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
observing. It's like and also I'm gonna shoot a couple movies up here. But when when I shoot a movie, I go research. I go watch this stuff so I can recreate it right. So in any business that I think about doing, or at least if it intrigues me, and I have the ability and the wherewithal to experience it firsthand, I'm gonna do it. Like, how many people can just go and pick Farrakhan's brain about farming? You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm gonna take advantage of that. I'd be a fool not to. God gave me the wherewithal to do those things, so I'm gonna do them. If He gave me the knowledge, then I'm gonna go fight to get it, and it's easy. I didn't have to fight to get it. Farrakhan's very, very he's not cheap about knowledge. He's very generous with it.
Yes,
He
he
gives you the
is.
secrets on how to get through life, whether you Muslim or Christian. You understand? That's why you
Yes.
can't knock that man, because the stuff he's telling you is not just for Muslims, it's for people.
Mm-hmm.
The people I've seen him help ain't just Muslims. The people that I've seen him help are people that he doesn't even know are listening to him, that are like, yo, you see Farrakhan, like JT Figure? He was like, you see Farrakhan, you told him he changed my life. Just because of what he said about being a person that gives to the people as opposed to taking from the people. Like, the job as a boss is to give to the people. A job as a boss is to give shit away. And ain't nobody doing that. You got to be the shepherd. That's what Farrakhan says. You got to give away. That's the boss, the guy that gives the most. That doesn't sound like a religious thing. That sounds like a good human moral thing.
So to you, leadership is service as opposed to
Service.
just being the boss, right? Okay. So
Leadership is caring about other people besides yourself.
okay.
My crew gets paid before I get paid, always. That's why they always say I'm broke, because everyone that worked for me got money. But if you're not gonna get paid for me because you did something I didn't want, and you're gonna try to charge me for it. That's not happening. And that's what the lawsuits be like. I'm not paying for that. I didn't tell you to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just make up shit for me to pay for and then try to sue me for it. Fuck you.
All right. Well, that's a good way to finish it, man. I was going to ask you. Actually, you answered my last question because I was going to ask you about Farrakhan and the influence he's had on you. I know you and him talk. How long did y'all talk when you met him? For a while, like 2 hours.
Hours,
Really?
hours,
That's
hours.
good.
And we
So
could have
so.
talked more. I just had to catch a flight. We could talk. I'm gonna go back and see him.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because what he taught me was so insightful as it relates to just being a man and farming. You know what I'm saying? And taking care of yourself and the bigger picture, the obligation you have to take care of your insides. You understand what I'm saying? Like all of that. And then the fact that without an internet, he's been very successful at distributing knowledge. You know, through the paper, hand to hand, like he did what people do on a computer. He did that shit physically,
well, he did.
under duress.
I mean, well, he did the Million Man March without the help of the internet. I mean, he got a million
I was
black men
there.
to come to D.C. Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah,
No violence. I was there. I,
were you? And how did the Million Man
I
March
was there.
affect you when you were there?
Pardon me?
What did you get out of the Million Man March when you were there in '95? Like, what did it do for you?
But I have to believe it must be me now. Because a lot of what I'm saying, you know, like I'm 43. So that was a while ago. I was in my 20s. You don't remember everything that you learned, but what you do usually comes from what you've seen, what you've absorbed. Like I find teaching doesn't come from telling, it comes from people seeing it. You understand what I'm saying? Like you tell somebody something, he kind of resents you for it. He kind of thinks he should know it. Like men do that. It's hard to tell somebody some shit, a man. He don't want to listen. But when he sees you doing it, he becomes influenced by you. So regardless to what, I can't just think that I want all this organic food and I want to farm and all these things that coincide with what the minister is saying just innately because I was around him 20 years ago. So I got to think that a lot of what he was saying must be what I'm thinking now because every time he spoke, all I remember was feeling really proud and really ready to go get the world and really like everything I've been believing in is right because he's saying exactly what I feel. You understand what I'm saying? And then looking at the respect and the way, because he carries himself like a gangster. You know what I'm saying? It's like he ain't, you know what I mean? It's not like he's you feel like there's some fear in there when you talk to Farrakhan. And he's the most soft spoken person and with the most polite. That's the scary shit. That's what I was telling him. I was like, yo, niggas that's yelling, I'm not scared of them. The soft spoken guy with the good hair, that's the guy. You know what I'm saying? He got the sideways. You know,
Yeah,
you
he
gotta be a
does.
gangster to have sideways.
Yeah,
That's for gangsters.
he got a
You
lot of
know,
swag for the age of 82. That's for
swag
sure.
game is up. Yeah, swag game is up.
Well, let me ask you this: how do you compare? And this will be the last thing I want to ask you today, and then we'll talk again. But how do you compare Farrakhan to other black leaders? You know, you got Jesse, you got Al, it's etc. How do you
Can't
rank
compare.
them up? How do you stack them up? Out of
They're
curiosity.
not the they're not the same kind of leader, man. You know, he's more of a warrior. I'm not gonna say that Jesse Jackson's not, but Jesse Jackson looks out for Jesse Jackson. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a bunch of Jesse Jacksons walking around and whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's been able to build somewhat of a country within a country. You understand what I'm saying? Like the people you have to compare him to is like Fidel Castro, not in a bad way, but in a way where it was like fuck everybody. I'm gonna live vertically by myself. I'm not going to take anybody's help. And he developed the country within a country. That's what he did. So I have to compare him to people that run countries. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to compare him to Obama. I can't compare him to someone that shows up when there's a problem. I got to compare to someone that every single day I feel his presence because I see somebody with a bow tie selling something or a bean pie or I hear his information or there's a million people on the White House step. Plus, he's also scary. Like nobody's scared of Al Sharpton. Nobody's scared of Jesse Jackson. People scared of Farrakhan. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no fear with those guys because Farrakhan is dangerous because he knows how to give intelligence to people's minds. So he makes awareness to people that don't have it. Like the way to control strong people when you're a nerd is with your mind, right? And the way America's controlled all of us black strong people is with perception and mind games. So if we have the awareness that we're as strong as we look and as strong as we are, if someone intelligent can break that down that we believe in it, it's dangerous because we will be in control. And they know that. And when I say they, I'm meaning those people that aren't on the team of fairness and healthiness and what's good for the community and what's good for the culture. and the race, the human race. You understand what I'm saying? The race is human. Culture is different. Culturally things are different, but we all human. And that's the number one thing. That's the denominator we all have. That's the law we got to start thinking about. Human law.
Mm. Well, you do know. I don't know if you know. Did you know that Farrakhan and Obama live about 2 blocks away from each other in Chicago? Did you know that?
I'm not surprised, but I did know that. That's dope.
Yeah, yeah. They. I live in the same neighborhood. Obama lives 2 blocks that way. Farrakhan lives a couple blocks that way, and
Y'all
the
live on that's a hot block. I know
it's
the feds all over that block. Woo!
man. We're probably being
There must be
recorded
nothing
right
on
now.
that block.
Well, and the funny thing, man, is I know that there was. I heard people talking about there was a little bit of a controversy when Obama first got elected because he and Farrakhan vote at the same polling location, and
I love
so
that.
yeah, so from what I understand, Obama's people wanted Farrakhan to vote at a different time so that they wouldn't be seen photographed coming out of the same polling place. And from what I
I love it.
understand,
I
Farrakhan
love
did
it.
not back down. It was the Obama people that had to back down because Farrakhan's been going to this place for 20 years. So
Farrakhan, get ahead with all that, man. And I got my own Secret Service, man. Get out of here. And he got his own thing. That's why I mess with him. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I got my own thing. You ain't telling Farrakhan what to do. That's one thing you're not doing. Is
yeah,
telling Farrakhan what to do. You're not doing that.
that is
That's
true.
why I like Farrakhan, because he's not a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a real man, but in a gentleman way. You know what I'm saying? And he gives pride to his people from the way they dress on down. You know what I'm saying? So you got to mess with that. The
Well,
strength in believing in your culture and yourself is ill, especially in a place or where people just don't believe in themselves
I couldn't agree with you
for no
more.
reason.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I put Farrakhan head and shoulders above almost everything we got out here. And I know that the time I went to visit him at his house, and I remember before we even got out of the car, some NOI guys came up to the car. Like they knew, they were like, "Hey, Dr. Watkins, we were expecting you." Like they knew, like they were watching the location. You ain't gonna just run up on him or anything like that. It's pretty phenomenal and very impressive, man. He's an
Oh, no,
awesome
you ain't
brother.
doing that.
Awesome, man. All right, man. Well, it was good
It's very,
talking to you.
it's very.
Well, say it again.
I say he's very organized. That's what I like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Well,
He's very brilliant. But anyway, guy, what you saying?
no, I'll say it was great talking to you, man. It was a good
Yeah.
conversation, for sure. All right, so everybody,
I heard, the last one went viral. I didn't even know because I've been on this barn, so people was calling me like, man, everybody. I heard a lot of people picked up the last show.
which one?
The one I guess where we spoke about the Jay's freestyle.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah. You talk about so many topics, man. And I learn from you. I enjoy talking to you. It's a good conversation. So we're gonna keep doing
No
this,
doubt.
and look forward to talking to you again, man. And
Put one of my trailers after. Can you play one of my trailers now for one of my movies?
of course, you just send anything you
Thank
want
you.
me to share. Just send it to me. You know I do
Too
that, brother.
honorable. You
Hey,
get it right now, mixtape movie. I just finished the full movie because this new thing I'm doing.
what's
No
that?
one's done this before. I make mixtape movies first and then the real movie. You know what I'm saying? So you got Losades, you got Too Honorable. Everybody thinks it's the movie. It's cracking me up. I, the real movies are coming out theatrically in a couple of months. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So the trailer you're about to see is the trailer to the movie, but there's a mixtape movie that's out right now. You can get it from Two Honorables, ddstudios.com, from Vimeo, direct to consumer, and it's going well. But the real movies, the real Losades movie, the real Two Honorable movie, and everything else, I'm proud of it. I think we're gonna make a difference.
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing the man. Send me the trailers. Anything you want me to share. My
All
friends
right,
are your
cool. So
friends.
you're available to come to Atlanta this week?
Not this week, but pretty soon. We'll do
When
something
you're
this month.
available?
Yeah, probably this
This month?
month.
All right. I just book it. I
Yeah,
just
we'll do
book it.
something this month.
All
We'll,
right.
we'll definitely do that. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for checking us out. This is Mr. Damon Dash, who has a lot to
Everybody.
say as usual, and I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Financial Juneteenth. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.